Hey guys, I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shell Flosstube, and we have a brand new cross-stitch alphabet that is so cute. It's available in a PDF pattern so you can print it and you're ready to go at home. And we have great ideas for it. Our very first one is stitching on a bag. So we've got lots of alphabet options, but we put together this one. It is part of the pattern, but you can use this with anything in the pattern. You can do your initials, your monogram, your name, but today I'm going to show you how to stitch stitch. It's part of the pattern, so you just need the pattern and a mesh bag. Gray is the small, pink is our medium, and aqua is our large. And the best thing about this trio of bags is you can use it for anything. You can use it for clothing, you can use it for swimming, you can use it for makeup, you can use it for stitching, you can use it for anything. It's really durable and they all stand up. So you can not only use it as your stitch bag will actually stand up. So let me show you how easy it is to stitch on the Gingham on the Go mesh bag. So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this. It only took me about 2.5 hours, so super quick, super easy, and the best thing is there's no sewing. So you take your bag and you want to figure out how many squares across you have and how many squares down you have, and you want to compare it to your pattern. Now I'm only showing you part of the pattern because we don't want to give away the pattern, but our pattern comes out to 64 high by 71 wide. So to find your center, you can either fold it or you can count your stitches. Every square is 20 stitches. So I'm going to count and I'm going to write down my sizes and tell you how I did this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is 184, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. So we've got 189 wide. And it all is very subjective, and it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just kind of how I do it. And I'm going to count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 104, 5, 6, 7, 8, 114. So then I'm going to take the difference between 64 and 114 and divide that by 2, and that tells me 25. So you need 25 stitches, then your design, and then 25 stitches. So 25 plus 25 plus 64 equals 114. 71 minus 189 is 118, divided by 2 is 59. So this one would be 59, the design, and 59. So 59 plus 71 plus 59 equals 189. And so that is kind of the math on how you do it. Now another thing you can do is you can just take your bag, fold it in half, both ways, find your center and start in the center. So you can do either one. And so what I'm going to do is find the center, and I'm going to show you how to stitch. Today I'm using Aura Floss color 2630. I just take a little bit off, about 18 inches, and I'm going to use needle size 26. You could also use size 24, whichever one you're more comfortable with. I prefer working with 26. Some people might like 24 for the big holes. So it's totally up to you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And I have stitched on this bag with 4 strands and with 2 strands, and I think the 2 strands looks beautiful, so we're going to work with 2 strands today. And the most important thing when picking your thread is to have a very dark contrast, because you will be stitching on a light, a medium, and a dark. So if it's not dark enough, it won't show up. So that's why I picked a really, really dark one. I'm going to pull 1 strand of floss off. That's how I pull my strand off, and then that is what's left. I'm going to create a loop with my thread. So you've got a loop on one end, 2 strands on the other. We will thread the needle And that gives us 2 strands because we're going to start with the loop method. So what I'm going to do for the middle is I'm just going to fold it in half, and that's how I'm going to find my center across the middle, because that's the easiest way on the middle. And there is my center. Now really what I want to do is I want to make sure that my design comes centered. So you can tell that I've got a certain number of stitches up here and a certain number of stitches down here, which is where my mouth is used. So on my height, I need about 25 stitches up here. And you can see I've got that because I've got 20 plus 5 because there's 20 per square. So I am going to just do the same thing on this bag. Okay, so I'm going to find the center. I'm going to go over to start my stitch, fold it over. The bag is very pliable, so it's not going to crease. You're going to find that loop at the end, put your thread through it, and pull. So you have started on the back with no mess. Super easy. And I'm going to just follow the pattern and show you how I stitch. It's so easy to do this. I did this at the pool in no amount of time. This was such a quick stitch. So I just kind of keep my hand underneath and all this other stuff out of the way. And I just keep stitching. So I'm just going to follow my pattern and just stitch. And I'll just let you watch my stitching for a little bit. And if you want it to lie really nice and flat, I mean, it is a bag, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but when you go across, if you divide your threads like this, you put your needle in between the two, that's called railroading, and you go back down, you're going to have a really nice stitch. So I'm just going to keep stitching. It's super easy, and actually you can actually stitch in hand where you don't have to pull your needle to the back at all. It's going to be super fun. You can do this while you're watching TV. You can go super fast. And like I said, the most important thing is to have a thread that is going to contrast enough on your bag. And we have lots of patterns in this alphabet. You can do your name, your monogram, your initials, and you can stitch lots of things on the bag. You can also stitch with more than 2 strands. I found that 2 strands looks really nice. 4 strands is way too many. It looks too messy. So I suggest 2 strands, and any kind of floss would work on this bag. Now you can see there it kind of got knotted a little bit. All I do is kind of do this, and when you get a knot like this, if you put your needle right in the center of it in the knot and just jiggle it a little bit, it will pull that knot out. So my knot is gone, and when you get a knot, you can pull out your thread, put your needle in between your thread, separate it, and then it is not going to knot. And just put it back together. And sometimes I get knots if I'm going a little bit too fast. So I'm just going to keep going. So what I'm doing is I'm stitching in rows, and I'm stitching the half stitch all the way across, and then when I come back I'm completing the full stitch. You could do a half stitch on the bag, but I don't think it's going to give it enough coverage, and I don't think your design is going to stand out as much. And these are great gifts for sorority sisters, for dancers, for cheerleaders, for anything. Okay, so now when we're stitching, I'm gonna have to stitch backwards. So I'll show you this. I'm gonna do 3 stitches this direction, but then my row goes the other direction. So I'll show you what I do. I don't want a lot of thread mess on the back. So I'm just going to start stitching to the left, and when I stitch to the left, I'm going to do 1 stitch at a time so that I can go all the way over as far as I need to go. And if you want to look at the back, you can see that the back is really nice. I haven't carried over anything. So when you get your tail to have a couple of inches left, you'll want to end your stitching. So what I do is on the back, I just run my thread through previous stitches. It is a little bit harder than on cloth because you're working with plastic, so you just kind of have to force it under there. And I am pulling my threads about every 4 to 5 stitches. You just kind of have to, it's not going to go all the way under. You're just going to get it through and trim. And then when you come back to the front, you can either continue stitching this way or this way. I'm going to go ahead and stitch a little bit this way for you. Again, take your floss. If you hold it tight with 1 finger and pull 1 strand, it will not work if you do more than 1 strand, but if you just do 1 strand and you hold it tight and you just pull it, it's going to come right out. Again, I'm going to create a loop by putting the 2 ends together, threading my needle, creating a loop, and then starting. So I just find where I'm supposed to start, create a half stitch, go to the back, put your thread through the loop, and just keep stitching. And when I'm stitching, I'm just figuring out, sometimes I'm stitching full rows, sometimes I'm doing individual stitches. I'm doing whatever will create the less mess on the back. Or you can create a mess on the back if you want. You can do whatever you want to do. There's no cross stitch, please. The most important thing about stitching with this bag is keeping one hand steady and just keeping it away from your back. So you can either push it out of the way or you can just keep it up high like this, whatever's most comfortable for you. So I'm going to show you 1 more strand. Now when you're stitching, if you see your thread do this where it starts twisting as you're stitching, take your thread off, run your needle through the 2 strands, rethread and keep going, and that will create less knotting and it will make it go faster because you won't have your thread twisting. Another thing on the bag is as you're making your stitches, kind of pull pretty, not too taut, but I would pull taut so nothing is loose, just because it is mesh, that the harder you pull, I mean, you don't want to pull too hard, but you can pull a little bit harder than you would with normal cross stitch cloth, and it will look a little bit better, just because it's going to get those stitches really flat and less likely to snag on something. So I think this is a pretty good place to start. And when I get to the end, I just put the needle through the back, flip, and again, run your stitches through the back, and just know that it takes a little bit more time to pull it through the back because of the plastic. And then you just clip. I like to clip right to the edge. And then you're going to keep stitching. So now I'm going to talk you through kind of how I finished my bag. So when I finished my bag, I went ahead and finished the left part of the top, then the right part, and then I stitched each letter individually. I did not travel between each because it is mesh and you will see that thread travel. So if you want it to look really nice, just do each letter individually. And then to finish, I started here and went all the way around. And I'm going to show you the inside. You can actually turn this bag inside out. So this is the bag inside out, and as I was stitching, you can see I tried to hide my stitches as tight as I could. When I clipped my threads, I kept clipped really close. I didn't travel between each. So pick up your cross stitch alphabet PDF pattern at Fat Quarter Shop and your Gingham on the Go bags, and you're gonna have great gifts in no time. And make sure to subscribe to our Flosstube channel, and we'll see you again next week.